So I'm going to insist on that we're going to focus on or to fall into any provocation, that we will act with prudence and respect to the authorities of the United States, with respect to President Donald Trump. We will, we think that all the conflicts in lateral relations should be resolved with dialogue, with communication. It doesn't bring nothing good. The use of forceful measures. We have to act with prudence. There exists relations of friendship with the government of the United States, and also relations, economical and lateral. We have about 3,000 kilometers of border. They work. 24 million Mexicans work in the United States, or live and work in the United States. For that reason, we are obligated to act with lots of prudence. And we are going to insist very much on dialogue. For that reason, I gave instructions to the Secretary of External Relations to communicate or to go to Washington and that he sit down, stay there at the embassy of the Mexican embassy in the United States, and that he look for with government functionaries, like I specified in my letter yesterday, communication, that there be an exchange of point of views, and that we come to an agreement with this, regarding this measure to increase tariffs to Mexican products or merchandise that will be exported to the United States. We aren't going to answer in a desperate way. We will wait some time for the evolution of this situation. As I said in my letter, we do not consider that you should apply the law of eye for eye, tooth for tooth, because we'd wind up blind and toothless. We have to search for dialogue and hold on. we certainly need to search for politics and dialogue, and also included in the letter.
Creo, surgió, se inventó para evitar la confrontación.
This letter was created, surged to prevent confrontation and to avoid war. So therefore, we will work on politics, lots of diplomacy, and we will behave responsibly. I ask all Mexicans to have confidence that we will overcome this attitude of the United States government. They will rectify because the land of Mexico does not deserve to receive the treatment that they are attempting to apply, or that they would like to apply. We have always attended, listened to the plans or questions that the United States has, and we are doing great work to try and help the increasing migrant influx. And also to signal that this is a problem that has to do with problems in another country. We're not trying to blame them. These are circumstances that arise in countries where people have no options or alternatives, and these are human beings. I want to say that we have accompanied to try to help them to return, to many of them. Yes, we are complying with our responsibility for the political migration. All these things will be informed in Washington, and we will also want them to understand that this is a matter that's social, economic, that there are many that are in a desperate way, are abandoning their own due to violence and no work or lack of work. We have to help so that they won't come in an illegal way into the United States, but also we have to do it in a respectful way and respecting human rights. Nothing authoritarianism. They are human. With this number of people that are leaving their countries to look for another means of life, there's also children, thousands of children, and some children are alone. Pardon me. That was too much. Those children, some of those children don't even have parents. And so we're trying to act responsibly. I'm so sorry. This is very touching to me. And it's, we have to pay attention to what's happening to other people's lives. And I'm sorry, I'm doing the ugly cry. We do not want to violate any of the rights. Oh, and he says, overlooking the material situation, we have to have fraternity, or there is fraternity. I ask Mexicans that we will be informing you and that things will turn out well. In the last hours, I have received lots of calls of support from Mexicans from all areas. There is one feeling of solidarity from the people of Mexico towards our government. And so we're going to wait for the information from Marcelo Ebrard, and we will communicate with you guys permanently with this purpose. We will be here early in Veracruz, and we will there at the same time have a press and have this communication, and the same we will attempt to do on Sunday, even though it'll maybe not be so early, but we will be in Tabasco, and we will also keep informing you on these topics constantly over this situation. So that's what I wanted to say. So let's wait and see. I believe that it will that it will change this posturing that they have at the U.S. by President Trump. That he will understand that it is not that way that things can be resolved. I believe that there will be a rectification, if not maybe not immediately, but it will be forthcoming. Because these measures are not convenient for Mexicans, but also to the U.S. citizens. And that is my take on this. And so as government workers, we have to pay attention to the Mexican people, listen to them, listen to the voice of the citizens, the opinion of the citizens. Because the opinion of the Mexican people, as in the United States, will be for free commerce and not for measures that
impidan
prohibit free
no a
trade,
favor de impuestos,
not in favor of tariffs or taxes,
aranceles o de cerrar
or to
nuestras
close
economías.
our economies.
La gente va a estar a favor
The people will be in favor of
que haya libre comercio.
there be free
También,
trade.
Esto
And
no
also,
detiene
this won't
el
halt
proceso
our process
que ya se inició
that was already
para
initiated
ratificar.
for the rectification of the treaty.
Nosotros
We,
vamos a
we also will continue,
Desde luego, es un asunto que corresponde
but
al
of
Senado de la
course,
República, pero
this
lo primero
has to do
de
with a problem that is to be handled by the Senate in the Republic.
objetivo es de que continúe el proceso
But
de
but they feel that the process should be continued
ratificación,
and to the ratification of the treaty,
que nosotros cumplamos con
and that we comply
compromisos
with the
que se hicieron
compromises that we made,
y que
and-
terminemos pronto
and that we end soon
de aprobar
in approving
el tratado
this treaty,
comercial
commercial
de México
or
con
commercial
Estados Unidos.
treaty with the United States and
Eso es lo que
Canada
quería comentarles en términos
and Mexico. That's what I wanted to comment. So he's got questions. He's allowing questions now.
Buenos días, jefe del Estado mexicano,
Hello.
Carlos Pozos, reportero de Petróleo y Energía.
He's a reporter for
Nos
energy.
queda clara la
and
postura de
petroleum.
nuestro país a través de esta carta, presidente, pero en estos tiempos modernos las cosas cambian minuto a minuto. ¿Qué tenemos ahorita que amanece? ¿Es el inicio de un reacomodo geopolítico?
He says, I appreciate your letter, but these modern times have ever-changing situations. And regarding the posturing that will have economical effects,
En donde nuestro país
Where
puede
our
quitar
country
aranceles a China
can remove tariffs from China
y a Rusia,
and Russia,
o podemos esperar
or
una
can we
invasión?
wait for an
¿O
invasion,
necesitamos
or-
de un pacto
or do we need a pact
global migratorio?
for level migratory? He says we will wait.
Nosotros sí ya fijamos
Yes,
como postura
we have taken a posture
aceptar
not to accept
nada
anything
que
that is
implique confrontación.
that will imply confrontation.
El responder
To respond
de manera enérgica
in an energized way,
meternos a un proceso
To-
de confrontación.
to get involved in a confrontational pattern. No, we will not do that.
Vamos a buscar,
We will seek
convencer,
to
persuadir
convince and persuade,
de que
since there is
estas medidas
these measures
que
that
se tratan de imponer
that they are attempting to impose will not
En tiempos
resolve.
electorales,
But these are
serán
electrical
circunstancias
times.
especiales.
It may be special circumstances.
Hay que entender
So also we need
lo que
to
está pasando,
understand what's going on in the United States.
pero no meternos nosotros
Well, they've got
a eso.
elections, and let's not get involved.
Prudencia,
Let's be prudent,
aunque se tenga
even if we
el
have
corazón
to.
caliente,
uh,
la cabeza fría.
We need to maintain our heart cool and our head. Oh wait, no, our head cold and our heart. Even if our heart is, hot, we have to maintain our head cool. In other words, don't lose your temper, even though they're making you upset.
Segunda pregunta, presidente.
And one more
La cereza en
question,
el
President.
pastel. El domingo pasado, el creador de la frase "la dictadura perfecta" y premio
Last Sunday, the creator of the phrase, oh gosh, let me go back just a tad and see if I can get it. Oh my gosh, that's going to be hard.
la democracia o hacer prevalecer el populismo que arruinaría a nuestro país. ¿Le parece alguna opinión?
No, está en su derecho de manifestarse.
No, he says they're in their right to manifest themselves.
Tiene ese punto de vista.
He's
Yo,
got that point of view, and I respect it.
desde luego, no coincido.
Of course, I don't agree with it.
Muchas gracias.
Señor presidente, Jessica
Thank you,
Cermeño,
Mr.
dos
President.
preguntas.
I have two
¿Ya le ha
questions.
respondido alguien de Estados Unidos a esta carta, ya sea el presidente Donald Trump o alguno de sus colaboradores?
Todavía no. No hay
So have you responded to his, or have they responded to your letter yet, Mr. President? No, that's why we cannot
más
do anything more
expresado.
than what we've already expressed in the letter.
Y la segunda pregunta es,
And the second question
después,
is,
del anuncio de la Casa
after
Blanca
this
del presidente
announcement
Donald Trump,
from
¿usted ha
the
decidido tomar
White
alguna
House,
medida
have you
en las
decided to
fronteras, por
take a
ejemplo,
measure
vigilancia,
in the
designar,
borders,
agentes
like
del
to
Instituto
put
Nacional de
more
Migración, para tener
agents
vigilancia?
and vigilance at the
¿Algo va a cambiar en
at the
los
borders?
próximos
Will
meses?
something change?
Lo siento.
Well, we've already been doing that work,
Importante,
which is very important,
como no se había hecho antes
as we hadn't done before
en esta materia.
on this matter.
Pero queremos
But we would like
se le informe
to inform
a presidente
uh,
Donald
President Donald Trump that
con datos.
with data,
Hay algo
that there's
que
something
es evidente,
that is evident,
ha crecido
that has grown,
el flujo migratorio
the migratory influx,
por
because
las crisis
the crisis
en varios países.
in various countries in Central America.
Puedo decir que la mitad
I can say that half
de los migrantes
of the migrants
son de la hermana República
That
de Honduras.
are from the sister republic of Honduras. That's
Eh,
half of them.
y que,
And that
ante
they-
este crecimiento
related to this growth, we have to act.
y se ha acompañado
And we've accompanied
de regreso
them on their return to towns,
a migrantes
to migrants,
como no se había hecho
like we hadn't done before
en otros tiempos,
in other times.
respetando
We respect
sus derechos
while respecting
humanos.
their human rights.
Hablaba yo de la situación
Um,
de niños
because especially
solos,
there's also children
algo
alone,
que no
something
había visto
that we hadn't seen before
en otros tiempos,
in other
o no
times, or not
en el número
not in the number
de niños
of boys and girls
migrantes.
that are migrants,
Entonces,
children.
estamos
So therefore, we are
haciendo lo que nos corresponde
doing what we are
sin
supposed to do
violar derechos.
without violating
Entonces,
human
de
rights.
ayer a hoy,
So
no se
from-
tomará ninguna medida extraordinaria ante el anuncio.
Es que ya
From yesterday to
tenemos
today,
un
will you take any
plan
extraordinary measures?
que,
And he said, no, we already have a plan
aplicándose
that we have been applying,
en
Continuará
la
normal.
frontera sur, que va a continuar,
that we will continue,
y que está
and that is
dando resultados.
already giving us results.
Tenemos datos
We have
para
data
mostrar.
to demonstrate.
Compártanos algunos datos, señor presidente.
Estoy esperando
I'm waiting for
que se informe
the information.
de manera
So
oficial
in an official way
al gobierno de Estados
to the
Unidos, que lo haga,
United States,
el
so that the
secretario de Relaciones
the
Exteriores
Secretary of Exterior or
presente.
something that he can present the evidence.
Y una vez que
And once
llegue las pruebas
the evidence is provided
al gobierno
to the government of the United States,
que se venga a conocer
that they will allow it to be known
cuál ha sido nuestra actuación
what has been our behavior
en lo que tiene que ver
when it's related to
el paso de migrantes
the
por nuestro territorio.
migratory pass through our
Lo que se ha hecho
territory and what we have done
para acompañar
to help accompany
de regreso
them to return home, to many people, to give them options of work,
y proteger
and also to protect them.
todo lo que hemos
Everything that we have done
materia.
on this
Se va a
matter
informar.
will be
Lo que sí le puedo
informed.
adelantar es que no nos
I
hemos
can tell you
quedado
is
con los
that
brazos cruzados,
we have not just stayed with our arms crossed and watching.
que no hemos
We have not
desatendido,
left unattended
este asunto
this matter
penoso,
that is sad
porque esto no debería de
and a shame, because these things should not happen
que existiera justicia
if justice
en el mundo,
would be in the world,
si no existiera
or
tanta pobreza.
if there wasn't so much poverty and inequality.
Entonces,
So therefore,
está atendiendo
we are attending
lo que tiene que ver con la
what we have to do with the
pero también
migratory
estamos
situation,
insistiendo en atender el
but
problema
also we have to attend a problem of
hace
funds.
muy poco, incluso
Uh,
eh,
recently,
ya presentó
CEPAL has already presented
para el
the
desarrollo
project for the
y
development,
la creación de empleos
for the creation of jobs
Centroamérica.
for the people from Central
Es
America.
un plan completo
It's a complete plan,
y hemos venido trabajando
and we've been working
con los Estados Unidos
with the United States
para
in order
que
to,
esa sea la vía
so that will be their guide
de atención,
of attention,
que eso sea
that
lo
be,
que se privilegie,
that will be the privilege
el atender
to
las
attend
causas,
the causes,
no
not
medidas
measures,
coercitivas.
forcitive measures, or forceful measures.
Y se ha estado trabajando en eso.
And we've been
Incluso,
working on that,
se aceptó
also
originalmente
inclusively,
esta
it has
propuesta.
been accepted or
Se
has been
comprometieron
proposed
recursos
to set aside recourses or funds
alrededor de 5,000 millones de
around
dólares.
$5,000 million,
No se ha podido
and we have not been able
aplicar
to
esa
apply
inversión.
this investment.
Entonces,
So
esto es lo que queremos
this is what we
que
would like
se
to
vea,
let them see
sin
without
confrontación,
confrontation,
sin ofensas,
without offending,
con buenos modales,
with a
con
good
respeto al gobierno de Estados
respectable
Unidos,
ways
con
to the
respeto al
respect to
presidente.
the United States and respectfully with the President Trump.
Y octubre, la segunda película en la onda de ABC Radio. ¿Cómo responderá usted? ¿Y qué resultados arroja sus encuentros con Jared Kushner? Usted se reunió aquí en la Ciudad de México con él.
So what happened
¿Aplica la
with
diplomacia
the
personal
situation
interna del
with
presidente Trump y usted en esos
the
diálogos para
son-in-law
analizar
of
lo que
Trump
usted dijo
that came,
cuando visitó Estados Unidos como candidato a la
and
presidencia de Nueva
what
York?
happened of
Se
that?
reunió con las federaciones de clubes de mexicanos en Estados Unidos. Entonces,
So what were
¿qué
the results
sigue,
of those
señor
meetings?
presidente?
Esperar porque
So we're just waiting now
son 10 días
because it's 10 days,
y vamos a
and we are going to
presentar un informe.
present, oh my gosh,
Esa es la misión que
that is the
encomendada.
what's been recommended by the Secretary of
Vamos a esperar
Migrations.
también la respuesta.
And we're going to also wait for the response from the United States response.
También
And also,
vamos a ir nosotros
we are going to
analizando opciones,
be analyzing alternatives,
tiempo para eso.
options. We have time for that.
Hay condiciones
There's
bien favorables.
conditions that are favorable.
Yo pienso que en una situación
And I think that in a
de esta
situation
naturaleza,
like it is in nature, that we
con el
will
apoyo
count
de
with
los mexicanos.
the
Lo sentí,
backing of the Mexican
percibí
people.
desde anoche,
I perceived it as of yesterday and all morning.
de mucha gente,
Lots of people,
mucha gente
Lots of
de
people
todos los sectores
from every sector
expresando
were expressing
su apoyo
their support
a la postura
of my posture
asumida
or the
inicialmente por
posture that
nosotros.
I have assumed
Y
from the
vamos a
beginning.
estarles informando.
And we will continue to
Eh,
inform.
Va a haber unidad
There will be unity,
nacional.
national
No
unity.
tengo la menor duda.
I have no doubt.
Va a solidarizarse
We will be have solidarity
tanto
with the people of Mexico, so
en
much so
nuestro
that
país
in our country,
como los mexicanos que viven
also the Mexicans that live and work
en Estados Unidos.
in the United States.
Y la segunda pregunta, señor presidente,
And the
sin
second
darle la
question.
razón a su homólogo Donald Trump, ¿por qué él llama frontera porosa a Tabasco, entidad de la cual es usted oriundo, o Campeche, Quintana Roo, Chiapas?
Yo no voy a contestar eso.
He doesn't know why Trump, he's not going to answer regarding Trump's something about Tabasco.
Buenos días, Rocío Méndez de Noticias MBS. Para comenzar, hay un acuerdo comercial trilateral que tiene una serie de respaldos ante la Organización Mundial de Comercio. ¿Se acudirá a esto? ¿Se acudirá a otros instrumentos internacionales para verificar la posición de México? Gracias.
Sí, hay varias
There's various
posibilidades hacia adelante.
possibilities ahead,
Queremos
but we don't
avanzar
want to get ahead of ourselves.
Desde luego,
Of course,
lo que sí queremos dejar de manifiesto
what we do want to give us a manifesto
que
is
se
that
llama al pueblo de México
that
a
we are calling the people of Mexico to be
atentos
attentive
y unidos,
and united.
todos los mexicanos,
All Mexicans
unidos,
united.
que
That
enfrentemos
we
juntos
confront or
esta situación.
this situation together.
Ese es el llamamiento que hago
That's the call I'm making
a
to you
todos
guys, to all of,
los mexicanos.
to all Mexicans.
Tanto, repito,
I repeat,
a quienes
also
en el país,
the ones that are in our country, as also the Mexicans that work and live
en Estados Unidos.
in the United States.
A cerrar filas,
Let's close
primero
the
los mexicanos
the
y
filas is like groups or lines,
a no caer
to not fall
en
into
ninguna provocación.
any provocation.
Actuar con prudencia y con respeto
Act
a
with
las
prudence
autoridades.
and respect to the authorities of the United States.
A partir de las gestiones que se hagan,
So let's see what their gestures are
como
that-
propósito informar
that have with a purpose to inform
de lo que se está haciendo
the United States as to what we're
en
doing
materia migratoria
regarding the migratory
y es la encomienda
situation.
que tiene Marcelo Ebrard,
and that's what I've the duty I've given Marcelo Brag,
que se va a presentar
that he has some information he's going to present, and the response,
a esta solicitud de diálogo
this
de
request for dialogue and communication. And then after that, we'll see
otras
other
opciones,
options,
otras
alternatives.
Existen mecanismos
There's-
legales,
There
que
exists
desconocemos,
legal
pero no
mechanisms,
queremos,
but we don't want to go that route.
hablar de eso.
We don't want to talk about that
Por lo pronto,
for now.
ya, lo que queremos es
What we want
persuadir,
Is to persuade and to converse
nos conviene.
because it's convenient for us to have free commerce.
Los dos.
The two of you.
Gracias, presidente. Alberto Rodríguez, de Noticias. El que fue el jefe de la negociación de México, bueno, de la delegación mexicana, Kenneth Smith, advierte que en efecto pues es sencillamente ilegal imponer este arancel. ¿No sería más fácil simplemente cortar de tajo todo el diálogo, todo?
He's saying that because their trade agreement had dealt with the tariffs already, wouldn't it be better just to end the dialogue and
o acercamiento con Estados Unidos y decir de este
and cut
momento es ilegal que usted nos imponga este arancel?
to cut the interactions and not wait for them to impose this tariff?
Es que
What
no es solo un asunto
it's not just
legal.
a legal
Es que
matter.
queremos tener una buena relación.
It's also that we want to have good relations with the United States.
Y no queremos
And we do not want
a la primera
for the first thing or
la
impulse
primera decisión
or
o
first
actuación,
decision or action
proceder legalmente.
to proceed with law. We'd rather first
Que haya diálogo,
have dialogue
que haya entendimiento y que
and
se
to have
llegue
understanding
sin
and to
necesidad
come to an understanding without the need for
proceso legal.
a legal
No se
process.
trata de renunciar a eso.
We do not want to go to that.
Buscar
We are looking
una salida
for a
conveniente
convenient
para
eh,
los dos
out for for the both countries and
Y una
governments.
pregunta, ¿qué habló usted con Marcelo Ebrard en las últimas horas? ¿Cuál es
So
el
what
ánimo
did
de la
you
delegación que viaja a
tell
Washington?
Mr. Brad before he went?
¿Cuál
Or
es el
so
estado?
what's the
¿Qué
plan
van
for
a
him
llegar?
to go
¿Con qué
to?
armas llegan?
So what do you have to offer? So we have a lot of backing from the Mexicans.
Mucho respaldo.
Lots of backing from Mexicans.
Este,
That's what we have on our
pero
side.
mucho, mucho,
So a lot,
como nunca.
like never before.
El pueblo de México
The Mexican
está,
people are
respaldando
backing
a su gobierno.
our government
Eh,
or their government.
no tenemos también
We also don't have
manifestarlo
to manifest this
de otra
in
forma,
any other way,
pero
but
sí
it is,
la gente está apoyando.
the people are
Como nunca
backing
se
like never
a partir
before. As of
que se dio a conocer la carta.
as soon as they saw the letter,
Hay un sentimiento
there's a deep feeling
unidad,
of unity,
apoyo,
support,
ir juntos,
being together,
no
of not confronting
por ahora
for now,
de hacer una tregua
to try and make a treaty
las diferencias que tenemos
regarding the differences that we have,
teniendo,
and then having,
pero
and that problems we've been having.
se puede resumir en la frase la patria es primero.
But it can be summed up in the phrase, the patria is patriot, patriot. It's like our land, the government, our people, our government somehow is first, or the people are first.
¿Mande?
Have you discussed the economy with the concierge? Yes, they've come to an agreement, but we've had some kind of a mission. There's been several public servants. Lots of anyone who has to do with this matter will be going to Washington,
La misión la encabeza
and the mission is.
Marcelo Ebrard.
Presidente, Noemí Gutiérrez de Efecto TV, preguntarle cuánto tiempo va a estar Marcelo Ebrard en Washington. Si ya
How long
tiene
will Marcelo Ebrard
alguna
be in
reunión ya pactada, si ya lo van a
Washington?
recibir allá
Will they
en la-
be
en la Casa Blanca,
expecting
Marcelo
him?
Ebrard?
No,
¿Cuánto tiempo va a
it
estar
hasn't
allá? Y
been.
sobre todo dice que ya hay muestras de unidad. Si nos puede especificar exactamente qué sectores se han expresado, quién le ha
He
llamado
wants to
para
know
expresarle
who's
su
called
respaldo y sobre
their
todo si hay
unity
presidentes
and
de
who's
otros
called to
países que
tell
ya
them of
también
their
han
backing.
manifestado su respaldo.
And
Y
to
en
have
otro
other
tema también,
countries
si me puede contestar, el
told you
domingo
that
ya
they're
empieza la
backing us.
construcción de la nueva refinería en
And
Dos
then
Bocas. Hasta el
Sunday
momento, la
in
Secretaría
Two
de
Bocas they're
Ambiente
making the
no ha
refinery.
mostrado la manifestación de impacto ambiental. Usted había dicho que ya se tenía la autorización, pero exactamente si nos puede mostrar
something
este
about
documento,
the,
¿a qué se refiere esta autorización?
environmental
Con eso le contestamos
part of
todos.
the
Gracias.
Sí, mire, las muestras de
the show of appeal of backing
anoche
that we started to receive since last night
en las redes sociales.
in the wide webs,
Pueden ustedes
social webs,
constatar.
that you can check on.
Y hoy temprano,
And today in the morning,
hasta los que
even those that
vienen a protestar,
come here to protest at the palace
expresaron
expressed their
Cuando entré,
support. When, as I entered,
ellos son trabajadores
they are workers.
y en la mañana
And in the morning,
la secretaria de
the
Gobernación
Secretary of Government
me mostró
demonstrated to me or
mensaje
showed me a message
de Carlos Slim
from Carlos Slim
expresando su apoyo
that was expressing his
de él y el de su
support,
familia.
his and his
Por
family.
poner un ejemplo.
But just to give you an example,
Pero
however,
es general,
that's in general.
es todo el pueblo.
It's all the people.
Yo
I
conozco
know
la idiosincrasia de nuestro pueblo.
the synchrony of our people.
Estoy seguro que también.
I am sure that also,
No, pero estoy seguro de que va a haber
I'm
un amplio
I'm sure that
apoyo,
there will
un
be
respaldo.
ample support and backing.
Y que, repito,
And I repeat,
vamos a unirnos los mexicanos.
the Mexican people will
Más de lo que ya
become
estamos
joined more than we already are
juntos.
together.
No, pero tampoco queremos que sea
No,
una
but
causa
we're not going to make it an international cause, or
Lo que queremos
because we want it to be
defender
to defend
los intereses
the
del
interests
pueblo de México.
of the Mexican people.
Y también, ¿por qué no?
And also, why not
Defender
defend
el derecho a la vida,
to the rights of the life and
de miseria
to live free of misery
de los seres humanos,
of human beings, of the migrants of other countries,
el que
that
se apliquen las leyes migratorias,
they apply the migratory laws,
que no
but however,
haya violación,
no violations of human
no
rights,
haya maltrato.
no bad treatment.
La gente
These
no sale
people do not
pueblos
leave
por
their
gusto,
lands
sale por necesidad.
because they want to. It's because of necessity, no opportunities for work,
Violencia.
or there's violence.
Muchos salen por eso.
Many leave for that reason.
Eh,
So therefore,
es un asunto
it's a matter
de fraternidad
of
universal,
fraternity, universal fraternity,
que como lo digo en la carta,
like I say in the letter,
está por encima
that is above everything,
de otras consideraciones.
of other considerations.
Acerca de lo de
Regarding
la refinería,
refinery, the
el
refinery,
domingo informamos
on Sunday will it inform you
la situación
of the situation,
en que se encuentran los permisos
that the permits,
para trabajar.
the status that they're in to work in that refinery.
El domingo informamos
Sunday, they will be
yo sé que
informing
les interesa
regarding that whole situation.
pues
Uh,
se tengan estas manifestaciones
If they to continue to have these
y vamos a dar respuesta.
manifestations regarding the environmental impact.
Que no se construyan
There's
las obras
some people do not want it to be built
por otro tipo de
because of
consideraciones.
other
No
considerations
viene al caso.
that we're not going to
O sea,
talk about right now. It's
que no se haga el Tren Maya,
they don't want to make the train, that they don't want us to finish the the train. They don't want us to finish the airport in Santa Lucia. They don't want us to do the refinery.
pero bueno,
But
consideramos que son
we
proyectos
consider
importantes.
these are important projects.
Buenos días, presidente. Le quiero hacer dos preguntas.
Two questions.
Menciona usted que primero quiere que el canciller se reúna con con el presidente Trump y le planteé
No.
un informe, bueno, que se ha recibido
No,
por
con el
funcionarios
presidente Trump, o
estadounidenses.
sea, no, sí, con los funcionarios que decida el presidente Trump.
He wants his cabinet or people there
Que atender este.
to need to deal with this matter.
Y hay un plazo como de 10 días
As
para que se
the,
cumpla
they go
este
to
anuncio
deal
de
with
los
it in
aranceles.
the U.S.
El gobierno mexicano podría denunciar esta medida ante la Organización Mundial de Comercio. ¿Usted
So we can
podría
also
tomar en cuenta
reject the free trade
esta medida?
agreement by
Sí.
taking this into effect, into consideration. Yes,
Procesos
because these are processes
que tienen que ver con
that have to do with agreements,
incluso
including in the treaty
vigente,
that's
hay
pending,
mecanismos
that
para
there's methods to deal with
arbitrajes
arbitrators,
internacionales.
international.
Y existe también
And there also exists
la
a
Organización Mundial
something regarding the Worldwide Organization of Commerce. However,
no quiero
but I do not want at this time
pensar
to
en
even
eso.
think of that at this time.
Eso quedaría
Or these things
pendiente.
would be pending,
Vamos a esperar
because we're going to wait
el que se informe
for them to
y
inform
se puede llegar a un acuerdo.
that we can come to an agreement
Porque
quickly.
de no ser posible, estas medidas están ahí y se pueden tomar en consideración.
So these measures can be taken into consideration.
Mecanismo que existe
Yes, a mechanism that exists
en los tratados
in the treaties
comerciales.
of commerce.
Gracias, presidente. Mi segunda pregunta
And
es,
the second
¿nos puede
question,
informar, por favor,
can you inform us
qué avances tiene la investigación
what-
de la función pública sobre los contratos del superdelegado Carlos Dumelí?
he wants to know if we have any results
Está
on
por
the
informar,
contracts with Lomeli. He says
Secretaría
the Secretary of the Public Function will be informing you guys regarding that case. It's been solicited
hiciera una
that she make
revisión
a revision or examination
estos contratos.
of these
Sí,
contracts.
se lo planteo porque hoy se publica una investigación
So I heard there's an
detalla
investigation that
el
details
emporio empresarial de Carlos Dumelí.
the,
A
the
través de 21 empresas en 13 años ha ganado
The
contratos por 7,000 millones de
contracts.
pesos, 17 estados me parece,
with 17 states.
y resalta el dato de que
And
varios
they
de sus
can see
familiares,
that
socios
lots of
que
his,
están en estas empresas
uh,
también ocupan cargos de elección popular.
a lot of people that were involved in those dealings
Uno de ellos, incluso fue
should
candidato a
be
la
also had
Esta
charges
información
brought
me
to
imagino
them.
que usted la conocía.
I'm sure you know of this, and yes, I know of this.
Existe una
This is
confrontación política
a political
porque
confrontation
fue candidato
because he was a candidate
a gobernador.
to government and to be a governor in Jalisco. And,
Lo trae
and
desde hace algún tiempo.
so the
Eh,
Reforma
antes
has been after him for a while. Before that,
creo que fue
it was
diputado federal
it was a deputy general of a party
que no era Morena
that was not Morena,
y
and
no había tanto.
there wasn't such a problem.
Pero cuando
But
ya,
now, since he became
eh,
part of the
pasa a ser
Morena
Morena,
Morena party,
enfrenta,
now he's being confronted or being
pues el proceso tiene
he's in the process. So now that's the election process.
se intensifica
They're
las acusaciones.
they're trying to identify accusations. All I can say is
No
that
actuamos
we will not behave
con fobias
with phobias
ni con filias.
or
Es
filias.
decir,
That is
es
to say,
lo justo.
just what is just.
Si él
If he
está
is
implicado
implicated
en actos de corrupción,
in acts of corruption,
va a ser denunciado.
he will be turned over.
Si no tiene
But if he has none,
delitos,
any broken laws,
si
crimes,
legalmente
if
no
legally,
tiene responsabilidad,
if he legally has no responsibility,
no podemos nosotros
We can't
cometer injusticia.
commit an injustice.
Si hay pruebas,
If there's proof,
se castiga.
he will be punished.
Y
And
salen del gobierno.
they go out of government. It doesn't matter who it is.
Es cero corrupción.
There's zero corruption, zero
Me parece que hay conflicto
impunity.
de interés en el hecho de que él, siendo funcionario ya público, en esta misma administración ya también ganó nuevos contratos con gobiernos estatales.
Pero no hay que adelantarnos.
But let's not get ahead of ourselves.
No se puede sentenciar
You can't sentence
desde el periodismo.
from regarding a media or periodical
Una autoridad
using the news.
no hay intención
There is no
de
intention
encubrir a nadie,
to cover anybody up,
para nadie,
to block anybody.
de manera respetuosa.
I'm just letting you know in a respectful ways to
No
reforma.
nos confunda,
Don't confuse
no
people.
somos iguales
We are not the same
a los otros gobernantes.
to other governors or
O
governments.
sea, somos distintos.
We are different.
Que tengan confianza.
Be confident.
Buenos días, presidente.
Or have
Ayer
confidence.
se reunió con 10 gobernadores del PAN. ¿Nos podría decir cuáles son las conclusiones? de
Yesterday you
estos-
got together
de este
with
acuerdo y
10
cuándo se
group
reuniría
members
con
from
los
the PAN
gobernadores
group.
priistas y
What,
Morena?
what were the
Sí,
situations
estamos,
or topics of discussion?
buscando
We are looking for
fortalecer
to strengthen
las relaciones
the relations
con los gobiernos
with the
locales.
governments with local
Eh,
governments.
Es muy buena la relación con
It's
los gobernadores.
It's very good, this re-election for the government
Todos los partidos
of all parties,
por hablar
for them to talk regarding
empezaron a
politics.
estas autoridades.
and so
Lo
they
cierto es
went
que
to
han
these authorities.
actuado de manera muy responsable.
They've actually behaved in a very responsible way.
Se ha entendido
They've understood
que tenemos que unirnos
that we have to be
para
united
beneficio
to the
de
benefit
los ciudadanos,
of the citizens,
independientemente
independently
de las banderías
regarding
partidistas.
the party banners.
Ayer fue un buen encuentro
And yesterday was a good meeting for the governors that were
del PAN
there from the group of PAN, the party.
y estuvimos conversando
And
sobre
we were there
varios
conversing over various
temas,
items or subjects,
incluso de la posibilidad
including the possibility of
lograr una alianza
to gain an alliance that's ample
para combatir la corrupción,
to combat corruption,
para combatir
to
la
combat
pobreza,
poverty,
para garantizar la paz,
to
la
guarantee
tranquilidad,
peace
para
and tranquility,
impulsar el crecimiento económico.
to push forth
Eh,
the
esta alianza,
economical growth. This alliance was
una propuesta, una iniciativa
proposed an initiative
del gobernador de Querétaro,
from the governor of
que es
Querétaro,
el presidente de la CONAP.
that is the president of CONAP, Francisco Dominguez.
Y de eso se habló.
And we talked about that.
Voy a hacer lo propio
I
con
will do the
los
same with
gobernadores,
with the government
socios del PRI.
from the group or the party PRI.
Con ellos.
I also have very good relations with them.
Han ayudado,
They've helped.
se ha trabajado
They've
de manera
we've
coordinada.
worked very hard in a coordinated manner.
Yo creo que hoy vamos a
And I think
a
today
definir, de acuerdo
we
a
will
las agendas,
define according to the
cuándo
agendas
será este encuentro.
Al
what
salir
will
ellos
happen with
dijeron
this
que la-
meeting.
El gobierno, la federación, se comprometió a financiar en cada entidad un proyecto de infraestructura. ¿Ya le entregaron los proyectos o de qué se trata?
Have they
este-
already given you the documents regarding the
Para
treaty?
obras,
Yes, we're
vamos a decir,
um,
estratégicas,
in
importantes,
strategic,
trascendentes,
transcending manners or matters that are beneficial
de la población de
for
cada
the
estado.
people of every state.
Poder concertar, llegar a un acuerdo
We've tried to go in concert, be in accordance, or come to an agreement
una obra
to create a
gran impacto
work of great impact for the benefit
en el Estado.
of the people of the state.
Van a traer sus propuestas
They will bring their matters
la semana próxima
next week
para ver
to see
qué tipo de obras,
what type of works
presupuesto
and
anual,
budgets,
anual,
annual budgets,
y definir.
and to define
Y la última
regarding these
pregunta,
matters.
con este
And last
episodio de
question,
Estados Unidos, ¿hay
regarding
posibilidad de
this
que su gobierno
episode
modifique
with the
su
US,
política migratoria? ¿Es que el gobierno
is it
mexicano
possible that we're
modifique la
gonna
política
change
migratoria?
our migratory
No, pero,
politics?
lo que
No,
queremos es informar
but what we want to
que
inform
está
is that
aplicándose
we are applying
una muy buena política migratoria.
a very good
Pero
migratory politic.
Tenemos que informar que
But we have to
puede ser,
inform and
a
convince.
lo mejor,
Perhaps
no se tiene
it might not be,
toda
a-
la información
maybe we don't have all the information.
importante.
And that's why it's
Necesita
important
Marcelo
that Marcelo
informar.
visit and inform them,
Yo no tengo
because I don't have
duda
a doubt
de que se ha estado actuando
that we have
en
been
esta materia.
acting on this matter and that we've been doing good.
No hay elementos,
There are
no hay
no
razón,
elements or reason.
pero
However,
no estamos cerrados
we aren't closed
a escuchar.
to the listening,
Los puntos de vista
the,
del gobierno
to the
estadounidense.
point of views of the United States.
Se ha estado actuando,
We've been acting
les repito, muy bien,
in a very good manner,
subrayo,
and I underline,
sin violar derechos humanos,
without violating human rights.
y se está acompañando
And we
a
are accompanying
sus países de origen,
their countries of
a
origin
migrantes,
to migrant,
y se les está dando
and,
opciones de
and we are
trabajo
giving them
en
options
México
to work in
como
Mexico
nunca.
like never before.
Y tenemos los datos
And we have the data
para probar.
to prove it.
Y
And,
no tengo, además,
and
algo que me
besides
importa
that,
mucho,
I also don't
un
have
problema
something
de conciencia.
that I have no problem with my conscience.
Entonces,
Conscience.
vamos a esperar
So we're going to wait
el resultado
to
de
see the
estos
results
primeros encuentros.
of these first encounters with the United States.
Gracias, presidente. Buenos días. Alfonso Bárcenas de Cadena Raza, Radio 620. Sabemos que el gobierno mexicano está bien representado por el secretario Marcelo Ebrard. Sabemos de su capacidad. Sin embargo,
We know of Marcelo's
¿tienen un plan B,
capacity.
o si es necesario,
However, do you have a
presidente,
plan B?
¿Usted está dispuesto a viajar
Or
a
are
reunirse
you
con el presidente Donald
willing
Trump,
to work
toda vez
to
que se
see
ha manejado
President
que usted
Trump,
iba a salir del país, pero sin
even though you
embargo,
said
el
you
tema
weren't
lo
going to
amerita
leave the
para poder
country, but maybe this
rescatar precisamente
situation
esta reunión con el presidente Donald Trump?
might
Y si tiene un
be
plan
good
B
for you to
sobre esta
leave
medida
or
que
go
puso
to the United
precisamente el
States,
gobierno de Estados Unidos.
or
Gracias.
your plan B. He says, let's wait. We're going to
Vamos a
wait.
ver qué va a suceder.
Let's see what
El día
happens.
de hoy,
After this, or today,
mañana,
and tomorrow, let's just,
estar informando.
we'll keep you informed. We'll be here
Conjuntamente,
jointly,
analizando,
analyzing, reflecting
sobre este asunto.
over this matter.
Muchas gracias.
And thank you very
porque
much,
Vamos
because we
a
are
gira.
going to a meeting,
Les invito.
and I invite you
Vamos a Tlaxcala.
to
Vamos a
Tlaxcala
estar en Apizaco
and Apizaco. We're going to be in Apizaco
a las 11
at 11
12
or at 12
del día.
of
Vamos
today's
a estar
date, and we'll be there
En Apizaco.
at
y por la
Apizaco.
tarde,
And in the evening,
Coatepec,
in Cuautepec,
Veracruz.
Veracruz.
Mañana,
And tomorrow,
día dedicado a la Marina.
is a day that'll be
Vamos a
dedicated
estar
to the
en el
Marine,
puerto de Veracruz.
and we'll be in the port of Veracruz.
Vamos a participar en una ofrenda
And we will
a los
participate
marinos
in a presentation to the Marines of Mexico
el mundo.
and the world.
Vamos a embarcarnos,
We will
vamos a
become,
navegar.
we will board and be navigating. We'll be on the sea. It's the day of the Marines. And in the evening,
Mañana
tomorrow,
vamos a estar en
we will
Yanga,
be in Yanga,
Veracruz,
Veracruz,
en Coatepec,
in Coatepec,
Veracruz.
Veracruz.
Vamos a dar a conocer los apoyos
We
a
will
los productores de café
show what
de todo el país.
the backing will be for the coffee producers.
Vamos a dar
And
a
in
conocer
Yanga, we'll also let them know about the
a
support
todos
to
los
all
productores de caña
the
de México.
producers of cane in Mexico.
Entonces, les invitamos.
So we invite
Bueno,
you,
eso es el,
but
sábado.
that's going to be on Saturday,
en la mañana
in the morning.
Puerto,
in the morning at the port of
por la
Veracruz,
tarde,
and in the
Yanga.
evening in Yanga.
y el domingo
And on Sunday,
están todas y todos invitados.
you're all
Que
invited.
vamos
We're going to go to
a Paraíso,
the paradise,
al Paraíso.
the paradise,
Vamos a Los Bocas,
Los Bocas,
municipio de
in the
Paraíso,
municipality of Paradise,
Tabasco,
Tabasco.
mi tierra. mi
My land, my water. So you're
Vamos a
invited
iniciar
because we are going to initiate
la
the
construcción
construction
de la refinería
of the refinery
para darle valor agregado
to increase our
a la
value
materia prima,
to the prime
para no estar
material
vendiendo,
so that we will not be
petróleo
selling
crudo,
our crude
porque
because
durante mucho tiempo
For
no
many
se ha
for a long time we have not been constructing refineries. More than 40 years,
no se construye una nueva refinería.
we have not constructed a new
Y
refinery.
vender petróleo crudo
And we've been selling
para
our
comprar
crude
gasolina
so that we can buy
del
gas
extranjero.
from
Entonces,
foreign
como
governments.
Si vendiéramos naranja,
That's like if we would sell oranges
jugo de naranja,
and we bought the orange juice.
es algo parecido.
It's kind of similar.
Ahí en esa terminal
In that,
marítima
um,
de Los Bocas
in
se concentran,
that area,
se
Dos Bocas,
exportan
that's where it's concentrated and exported.
más de 1 millón
More
de
than
barriles diarios.
a million barrels daily of petroleum.
Entonces ya no queremos
So we don't want to do that.
que ese petróleo
That petroleum
se exporte.
be exported.
Queremos que
We want
ahí
to, right there,
donde llega todo ese petróleo,
to where all that petroleum is
que ya
going.
están las instalaciones,
And there's already factories and installations,
los
because it's coming
campos
from the
petróleo,
petroleum camps from Campeche, from the
y
sea,
de los campos de tierra de
and
Tabasco.
from the lands of Damasco.
Queremos que ese petróleo se procese
We want that petroleum to be
y se
processed
produzcan las gasolinas.
and that we produce our own gas.
De esta manera
In this way,
vamos a ser autosuficientes
we will become autosufficient or self-sufficient
gasolinas,
in gasoline,
y se da empleo,
and we will give
y vamos
jobs,
a bajar.
and we will lower.
Tengamos ya
Once
autosuficiencia,
Once we have autosufficiency or self-sufficiency, we will lower the prices of the gasoline. That is the
ese es el
agreement.
compromiso.
That is
Por lo
my
pronto, para que no se vaya
compromiso. He's compromised himself to do
no
that.
suben los
And
precios
so the price will not be going up.
de los combustibles,
Uh,
en
of-
términos reales.
He says in real terms, we're making sure that it's staying at the same
Que
price.
suban,
That
y
we're
mucho
trying to make
menos
sure that it's not going up. And
van a
much
haber
less,
gasolinas.
and there will not be any,
Eso
you know,
es
hikes.
un compromiso que hemos adquirido y se va a cumplir.
That is a promise that we've made, and we will comply with that.
Hasta el domingo,
And so we
Y
let you
mañana,
know from
como
now till
quedamos, sí vamos a atender
what's going to be going on.
temprano,
And tomorrow we will be in the morning having the
para
conference in
informar sobre
Veracruz
este asunto. A ver
to
qué
inform over these
se avanzó,
topics,
qué
to see what
se
advancement has done or what has happened regarding
puede
this,
decir Marcel sobre sus
from
gestiones.
what Marcelo says regarding his
Muchas
situation in Mexico, I mean in U.S. Okay, awesome. So, let me close that screen. Where is it? Capture device. Okay. Okay, that's not the one. I'm not sure. Okay, that must be the one. Okay, we're gonna close it. Hold on. This one here. Close it. Okay. Okay, so as you can see, it is our president, our current president, is someone to be proud of. The behavior is something quite impressive. And as you can see, it is very moving to have someone with such fraternity and caring for other people and the rights of humans, and to take a stance that is more, how should I say, humanitarian, and to care about the children and the people leaving their homes, and understanding that just like Mexicans, you know, when they had such corruption weighing them down and no ability to make a decent living or even have food. I mean, Americans have a hard time understanding. I know we understand there are some people in the U.S. that are, you know, lacking food, but the number of these in Mexico was huge. There was so many people that were in such a state of poverty that they were doing the same thing. They were trying to go to the U.S. or, you know, they go to other places too, by the way, you know, to try and find a new life. And they leave their family behind, their loved ones, the memories, the cultures, the things that Mexicans love, you know, our food, our music, everything that's beautiful in Mexico. And it's not something that anybody does because they want to, really. I mean, I wouldn't want to get up and move from where I live now, you know, at a moment's notice because someone was taking away my rights. So anyway, there's my 10 cents. But I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it was good for you, that you understood, and that I did a better job at translating. I'm always working on it, and I'm trying to make it sound better, trying to adjust the sound and all that so that you can take in the information better, and that it will be a pleasant experience. And also, it's important to me to try and do this as soon as possible, because I know that there's people that don't understand Spanish and want to hear what he's saying, and want to know what's happening in the world, and it behooves us, you know, to know that there's good things happening in the world, and for some of the things that are happening affect the Mexicans even in the U.S. and other places. So, you know, just I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Have a great day.